What is good? What is up? It's Jordan or Texans Thoughts, and I'm finally back with another Texans film breakdown. The NFL, they were slacking, man, in releasing the all-22 film so I could get this video done, but we finally got it out late Wednesday night, and in this video I'm going to break down the reasons for optimism from this game and also why we did take the L, and you know what we can learn from that. I'll look at the play calling, the deep passing game, the offensive line, and some of the blitzes I liked on defense. So if you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Now, let's break down the film between the Texans and the Chiefs because the film don't lie. So the first thing that I think we all had concerns with was the play calling. Did Tim Kelly actually change anything? Or is this the same old Bill O'Brien offense we know and hate? Look, the offense isn't going to look night and day different from before because Bill O'Brien still groomed Tim Kelly. But I can confidently tell you that Kelly has made some much needed changes. Let's start first with the two running back sets that we got to see before Duke Johnson got injured. On this play, we motioned Duke into the backfield from out wide, and the Texans are going to be running power to the weak side. So you're going to get Tunsil to leave Frank Clark and go straight to the second level. Then Zach Fulton pulls to the left, and Fells is another blocker for Duke, and Fulton does his job and takes out Clark. Fells makes just enough contact on the safety, but the star of the show here is actually David Johnson, making a damn good block as a lead block, kind of like a fullback almost, on Tyrann Mathieu. I mean, he blocked him better than Darren Fells could, and we'll get back to that eventually, but with all this great blocking, all Duke's got to do is hit the hole, and that was an easy 7 yards. So we saw how the two running back set can be dangerous in the run game. Let's look at it in the passing game. On the very next play, David Johnson is out wide, and Duke is acting as the number 2 wide receiver as we go 5 wide. Now look at the defense here. There's only one linebacker in the box at first, and Deshaun notices this and makes a quick audible. And the concept is to try and attack this linebacker right here because we should have a 3-on-2. So we're going to run a smash concept with our running backs, where the outside wide receiver, David Johnson, he runs a curl, and the number 2 wide receiver, Duke Johnson, he runs a slot fade. And that's supposed to put this cornerback in a bind on who to choose. But it doesn't really play out that way. Before the ball is snapped, the second linebacker comes into the picture, and so now linebacker number 53, he's going to take Duke, and the cornerback can watch David Johnson. But because of how we spread out the defense, look at the huge gap in between the linebackers. The deep threat of Duke Johnson occupies this linebacker and opens up an easy throwing window to Darren Fells. This is scheming people open. This is what we want to see. An offense that creates easy throws is a good offense. Now, we didn't get to see the two running back sets for the rest of the game because of Duke's injury, but there were still aspects of the game that I liked, specifically with the play calling. On that same drive, which was really our only good drive of the game to be honest, we utilized the screen game a good amount, which is something I've been screaming for them to do. Again, it's about creating easy yardage for the offense, and they do that here. Look at the situation, it's 2nd and 1, and on this drive we'd already had runs of 7 and then 9 yards. So the Chiefs are likely thinking run here, and trying to sell out for it, right? That's what you would think as an offensive play caller. And I like the play calling. You go under center, then play action fake, and it doesn't even draw the linebackers towards the run, but look at Watson look down the middle of the field and hold the defense. This allows David to leak out and Sharping to make a great block on Tyrann Mathieu, and then David Johnson just leaves this linebacker in the dirt. Whew! That's that 2016 David Johnson cutting ability I said will make or break his success here. He was cutting really well all night, and that really makes me optimistic for his season. They went to the screen game again on this drive, which really gives me optimism that it'll be a bigger part of the offense. Again, in a run scenario, they go under center, play action fake, and this time look how it drags all these defenders in. Also, look at how Deshaun looks to the right the entire time until the last second when he tosses it back to Cooks. It's the little things like these that allow us to get our weapons in space, and with some helpful blocking, that's an easy 9 yards. Give me more, please. They tried to get the screen game going, but only 2 more times throughout the rest of the game. I don't really know why they went away from it because it was successful, but one of these went to David Johnson out of the shotgun, and it was blown up as the safety was holding David, and Watson was forced to scramble. But then no screens until 3 minutes and 44 left in the 4th? When they ran a quick one to Cobb, and again it was successful. And implementing the screen game more consistently throughout the game will be huge versus the Ravens next week in slowing down their rush and their blitzes. Now let's move on to the next thing about the play calling, and that's our RPOs. I broke down the David Johnson touchdown run during my initial thoughts, and I talked a lot about David Johnson's vision and cutting, but now let's talk about it from a play calling standpoint. I like how they motioned Darren Fells inside, and now they've got him and Cobb in this very tight set. Now this is actually an RPO where we're going to see misdirection with Cobb and Fells going out to the left, and the run is actually going to the right. They have the pass option if Watson wanted it, but here's why he just took the run. Look at these two defenders. They're scrambling to get across the field and don't even have their eyes on the ball. Also, since this defender was left unblocked, the offense has now taken 3 guys out of the play and created a numbers advantage in the run game. This is great scheming to make the run game easier on David, and he finishes it off with some great cutting and following his blocks. I really love that play, and it goes perfectly into my next point where the Texans actually showed progressions from their RPO looks that we saw last year. I've harped on it during a few of my videos now, but the Texans last year essentially had one RPO play. I'm sure you've seen it before, where Fells is an H-back and runs into the flat, and against poor linebackers, sure, it's easy yards, but it's a very simple concept and very simple to shut down, and I wanted us to build off of it. We saw that with the David touchdown run, and we see it here again, getting the ball to Fuller. Look how this play looks different formation-wise, but it's essentially the same concept-wise. You've got 2 players motioning across the formation and the run to the opposite side of that motion. This time, the second level defenders bite on that run fake instead of running horizontal with the motion, so Watson doesn't hand it off. Now, the new wrinkle in this is instead of only having the dump off option to the tight end in the flat, we've got Fuller on a slant, and look at all this room created behind the linebackers because they are worried about the run. This is simple but effective play calling. Use the RPO to scare their linebackers, then punish them when they get too aggressive. Here's the exact same play again, but just flip the formation because the Texans, they always want to have the run going to the field side, giving them the most space for the run, but also this backside slant, giving them more space, and theoretically Fuller can get more yak off of it. So I like that extra progression, but the RPO game kind of fell off of a cliff, as the last time the Texans ran it was with 8 minutes left in the third quarter right here. I think we started to abandon the RPO game because at this point in the game, we were down 3 possessions, and there was just no point in the run aspect of the RPO from our standpoint. The defense would be happy to invite the run option. They want us to kill the clock, and so if the defense were to invite the run instead of selling out for it, that takes away the whole purpose of the RPO that I just showed, which is attacking behind those linebackers, right? So we moved on to just pure passing plays the rest of the game, and that moves perfectly into the next subject that a lot of y'all want to know. You know, after adding Cooks and having all these dangerous deep threats on the team, did the Texans actually attack deep a lot, or were they very passive and not using their weapons to their advantage? Well, that's a loaded question, and the answer is honestly that the Chiefs tried to take away the deep ball the best that they could. However, there were also things that the Texans could have done better to press the deep game. After tracking every single snap from the game, I found that the Chiefs played a too high safety defense on 24 out of the 36 total passing plays. So 2/3 of the time, they were in too high and trying to take away the deep ball because they know that's our strength and that's what we want. However, Watson is a smart quarterback, and he's not going to just force up a throw just because he wants to show off his shiny new toys. But when the Chiefs gave him single high looks, he did take shots when appropriate. The first one was early in the game, that early drop by Fuller. You know, not really a super deep throw, but it was 20 yards downfield, further than most of our throws that game. And then the second one, again, not super deep, but he led Cooks inside on this go route here instead of outside, like on the play before to Fuller where he put it on his outside shoulder where only he could get it. That's where Watson should have led Cooks on this one. It would have given Cooks a lot better of a chance to make a play. Here against too high now, Watson sees that Fuller has made his way into the hole in a cover 2 and tries to let one loose. And you can see that Fuller had space for a perfect throw to be fit in there, but there was instant pressure in Watson's face, forcing an off-platform throw that ended up being overthrown. Now on this one, he notices that Matthew is out of position and Fuller has a step on his defender, but for some reason he stopped running for a split second. However, Watson already let it rip, and luckily it was an overthrow because from this angle, it really looks like Tyrann could have gotten there for a pick. Now, this was definitely one of the most frustrating parts of the game, Watson's interception, and let's see what they were trying to set up. So when the Texans really want to go deep, and I mean 40, 50 yards deep, they'll break out their Yankee concept, and we've seen it ever since Deshaun has been a Texan. I've broken it down on multiple videos, but essentially Will Fuller will run a deep post, and DeAndre Hopkins will run a deep over. Usually Hopkins gets the safety's attention and Fuller is open as a result. But now, we've really transitioned Fuller into that Hopkins role, running this deep over to get Brandon Cooks open on the deep post. And look at all the attention Fuller gets. He drags 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders his way, leaving Cooks with a one-on-one with the safety, who he does have a slight step on, and if Watson had the time, he could have led the ball perfectly about here and unleashed a bomb. But this is why I don't trust Darren Fells. If you watch the video I made on him, he's not a good blocker. He's a very inconsistent blocker, and man, if Fells ain't blocking, get him the hell off the field, bro. He ruined this play. So, like I said, the Chiefs were in too high most of the game planning to take away the deep shot and force us to take stuff underneath. But something that I wish we saw more of that could combat this is just having more than one damn go route on a play at the same time. There were only 9 plays all game where we had 2 go routes down the field. And even worse, with all our speed with Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, Kenny Stills, we only ran 2 plays all game where we had 3 go routes on the field at the same time. That's insane. And yeah, the Chiefs were in too high all game trying to take it away, but you know what can kill cover 2? Vertical concepts. If you got 4 guys running deep, you're putting the safeties into conflict of assignment, and they can't cover them all at the same time. And look at the success we did have when running 3 go routes on the field at the same time. On the touchdown throw to Jordan Akins, we ran verticals to the field side, and what do you know? It worked. First of all, we need to have Akins attacking the seam like this way more often. Here's his route chart real quick, and the fact that he barely attacked the middle of the field is a tragedy. But anyways, getting back on point, look at the play design here. The Chiefs got 2 deep safeties, right? And we've got 3 go routes on this side of the field. You've also got Tyrann Mathieu cheating over to the outside, and what that does is it gives Akins the one-on-one with the linebacker, and that's a matchup he's going to win 9 out of 10 times. This is how we can scheme deep passes against 2 high defenses. They want to send more defenders deep? Alright, let's send more of our weapons deep. Let's not let them dictate the style of play. Be aggressive and force them to adapt, not the other way around. Here's the second and only other time we ran 3 go routes at once, and to keep driving my point home, we've got another successful deep play. This time we catch the Chiefs in single high, and here's the reoccurring theme: when Deshaun Watson had the chance to attack single high, he took it. This was unfortunately the only real time he was able to punish them for playing single high, but I would expect the chemistry and timing to improve over the coming weeks and for the deep game to become more efficient. So last thing with the offense, if you want to hear about the offensive line and how it let us down versus the Chiefs, check out my Twitter at Texans_thoughts. I put out a thread about all 4 of the sacks Deshaun took, and I break down who's at fault for each of them. Alright, now let's move on to the defensive side of the ball, and obviously the biggest issue was the run defense and tackling, and in the interest of this video not being 30 minutes long, I'm going to make a separate video talking about the run defense on the Texans Unfiltered YouTube channel, where I also make videos, and that'll be linked in the description. For this video, I'm really interested in showing y'all these blitzes that Anthony Weaver has come up with. Now, because the run game was gashing us, we didn't get to see the blitzes very often. We only forced the Chiefs into 1 3rd and long, and only 5 3rd and 5 yards or greater. That's horrible. And you can't blitz on 3rd and shorts like that. It's really not a great idea. However, Weaver still did it 3 out of those 5 times, and I like that aggressiveness. And let's take a look at these blitzes. Here's the one blitz on 3rd and long. Right after the GOAT, Jacob Martin got his sack. So first we're going to look at the personnel, and the interesting part for me is seeing Lonnie Johnson out at safety and being the single high safety at that. Then you got Roby and Hargraves as the outside cornerbacks in the cover 3, and Eric Murray and Justin Reed as the other safeties on this play. They're sort of playing the intermediate zones over the middle, and then you've also got Cunningham backing up over the middle as well. Now what I really like is how all 3 of these guys are at the same level. Then right before the snap, Lonnie goes back, and that's kind of messing with what Pat Mahomes is going to see pre and post snap, right? So in addition, let's look at the actual blitzers. So you've got JJ at nose tackle, which I really like, getting him on the interior, Witt and Omenahu on the edges, and their job is to actually attack inside against the guards. They're trying to bring the tackles to worry about them inside so that the blitzing DBs on the outside, AJ Moore and John Reed, can surprise them off the edge. Now, it honestly doesn't even really create much pressure, but they are able to collapse the pocket a bit, make Mahomes a bit jumpy, and the coverage downfield is great. No one's open, and all Mahomes can do is check it down, and that's a good rally to the tackle, and that's a dub for the defense. I really like what I saw from Weaver for the most part of this game, and with his blitzes in particular, if you watch the video that I made on him, he loves his DB blitzes. He loves to send DBs, and he did that quite often throughout this Chiefs game. Again, he brings two DBs off the edge, and Eric Murray actually gets a hit on Mahomes, but the thing about blitzes is that the coverage has still got to hold up for at least a little bit, and Roby got beat by Tyreek kinda quick here, which nullifies the blitz. But I like the process from Weaver to be aggressive, much better than Rack, and eventually these sacks will come when Conley gets back in the secondary. That's going to be huge for us. One more here where he crowds the line of scrimmage and makes it confusing to read where the blitz is coming from. That forces the quick check down, and this was actually one of the few third downs that we got off the field. So I'm excited to see what Weaver has in store for us. He was exotic, aggressive, and not afraid to switch up the scheme and personnel throughout the game, and that's what you want out of your defensive coordinator. Alright, that'll do it for my Texans Chief film breakdown. More content coming on the Texans Unfiltered channel, website, and podcast. And if you enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the game. Now that I've shown some things with the film, how are you feeling? Is it different? Is it better? Is it worse? Let me know. Alright, take care everyone, and remember, the film don't lie.